Today we're going to look at Magic the Gathering cards that let you cash in on your counters. You got to get some value out of those things. All right, we're going to start off with Power Conduit. This one is taken by Power Conduit by Toads24. All right, 2-mana artifact. You tap, remove a counter from a permanent you control. Choose one. Put a charge counter on target artifact. Put a +1/+1 counter on target. Wait a minute, this doesn't actually count. This doesn't actually have any. Hold on, does this sort of count? You can cash in on your counters. Remove a counter from. You know what? It doesn't have a counter itself, but you know what? It works because it's forcing you to remove counters. This is not how I thought this would work around here. All right, let's go with Restian Serpentine with Spike Cannibal count. Let's see. Spike Cannibal? Spike Canal? Spike something? What's a Spike Cannibal? Do you spell it right? I thought, okay, it's cannibal. Don't worry, I don't know how to spell cannibal either. Okay, Spike Cannibal for black 1 generic. It's a 0/0. Now it's gonna come into play with one +1/+1 counter on it, but beware, it's a juicy one because when Spike Cannibal comes into play, remove all +1/+1 counters from all creatures onto Spike Cannibal. This actually doesn't work. So hold on, what? No, maybe it does, because it takes all the counters from everything else. You know what? I will count. These are weird suggestions. We are starting the show off with really ambiguous, but like still technically legal cards. So like basically we're taking all the other counters and then putting on the Spike Cannibal to like grow it. It's a bit weird. It's a bit of a weird one. Vampire Hexmage does not count. It removes counters. That's terrible. Very bad suggestion. Sorry about that, Toads. All right, Abza, no one understands the show. Like, remove counter, get something. Shalai and Holler. Okay, this is a 4-mana 3/3 Angel Elf with Flying and Vigilance. Now, whenever one or more +1/+1 counters are upon a creature you control, Shalai and Holler deals that much damage to target opponent. That definitely doesn't count. Okay, let me give you a very easy one. Walking Ballista. This is very simple. It's clean. Boring, though. Everyone knows what Walking Ballista is. Comes into play with X +1/+1 counters, but you can remove a counter to snipe people for singular damage. All right, this is a perfect, 100% perfect case of cashing in on your counters, okay? This is 100% perfect. Okay, Kano. Hopefully, Kano can set us straight. The course is straight with Thallid. I don't even know what Thallid does. There's a lot of Thallids out there. Oh my god. Okay, this is the Thallid, though. At the beginning of your upkeep, put a Spore counter on Thallid. Remove 3 Spore counters from Thallid. Put a singular 1/1 green sapling creature token onto the battlefield. That's what I'm talking about. All right. We have enough counters on Thallid. We're going to make the Spore army. Sorry, the Sapling army with the Spores. Does Blast Zone count? I guess so. This is a weird one. Because you're not technically removing. Do you know what? Are we cashing? We're destroying everything? No, I can't count this one. You do put counters on it, but you don't cash in on the counters. You basically blow everything up. Let's go Surge Node. We're off to a great start today. Absolute fantastic start. Okay, now this enters the battlefield with 6 charge counters. Pay 1, tap, remove a charge counter from Surge Node to put a charge counter on target artifact. It will work, yeah. You can mess up people's Chalice of the Voids. Actually, believe it or not, I didn't think very much of charge counters. Charge counters aren't everything. It's like the battery of Magic the Gathering, the charge counters. I mean, they're basically like, you know how you need to look for 4 AAs to put in your Game Gear or something? Well, that's just what Surge Node is. You got to put 4 charge counters on a particular permanent. Mean Bruli, burning a super chat. Hopefully it doesn't get disqualified. Rasputin use counters? Rasputin, you say? This is 6 mana for a 4/1. Enters the battlefield with 7 dream counters on it. You remove a dream counter to add 1 mana. That's incredible. That's Azorius Ramp. That's crazy. You also remove a dream counter from Rasputin to prevent the next 1 damage that be dealt to Rasputin this turn. Also, this is perfect. This should be the thumbnail. At the beginning of your upkeep, if Rasputin started the turn untapped, put a dream counter on it. And Rasputin can't have more than 7 dream counters on it. Perfect. Very perfect example of cashing in on your counters. The Filigree Silex should count due to the last ability. It is a 2-mana legendary artifact. Tap, put an oil counter on the Filigree Silex. So we gotta pump up the Silex. And then we gonna dump. Tap, sacrifice the Filigree Silex, destroy each non-land permanent with mana value equal to the number of oil counters on the Filigree Silex. But wait, there's more. There's the third ability. Tap, remove 10 oil counters from among permanents you control and sacrifice the Filigree Silex. Deals 10 damage to any target. And that does count. Barely. It does say remove the counters. It says remove. When it removes, it qualifies. Okay, Christopher B with the Chasm Skulker. This is like very unblockable. 3 mana for a 1/1. Whenever you draw a card, put a counter on Chasm Skulker. But when it dies, create an X/1/1 blue squid creature tokens with Island Walk, where X is the number of +1/+1 counters on Chasm Skulker. Should I just count these? This was not the idea of the show, but you know what? I think I just gotta count all of these. So basically, so if it dies, you sacrifice. So like Blast Zone, I guess counts. I guess the show may be too narrow or something. Maybe my show is too narrow. I don't know. But we start accepting some of these things. Like Parallax Wave works. I didn't think my show was that complicated. But I guess we have to broaden it out. Okay, Parallax Wave, 4 mana enchantment with Fading 5. Enters the battle with 5 fading counters. You gotta remove a counter every turn. If you can't, you sack it. Remove a fading counter from Parallax Wave, you exile target creature. First you see it, now you don't. That's Magic the Gathering for you. And when Parallax Wave leaves the battlefield, each player returns to the battlefield all cards they own with Parallax Wave. Steve Cooper! Mutated Cultist. What is the and then suddenly Eldrazi Titans for nothing? What does that mean? Maybe I don't know what this card is. And donate 4. Mutated Cultist. This is a 3 mana 1/3 Devoid. When you cast the spell, remove all counters from up to 1 target permanent or opponent. The next spell you cast this turn costs 1 less to cast for each counter removed this way. That is very interesting. So basically you're cashing in on someone else's counters. I like it. Beautiful, very beautiful card. Is energy not counters? Energy is counters. Energy are counters. You can cash in those. Oh my god. I've just made this show at the time of energy coming back. Could that possibly be a coincidence? It is a coincidence. I didn't even think about that. Okay, 4 donations. David Hower with GC Heart of the Ocean, Heart of Oceans. Also Heart of the Cards. 4 mana, 4/4 Flying Spirit. At the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice GC Heart of Oceans unless you remove a counter from a permanent you control. We're not like cashing in on these counters. We're like paying for its survival. It does technically count. As weird as that is. Ristradin with back again. Penthead Prism. No one can spell properly. Thank God I know what how some of these cards are spelled. 2 mana Sunburst card. Remove a charge counter from Penthead Prism. Add 1 mana of any color. So when you pay 2 mana, make sure you split it up between 1 or at least 2, or at most 2 colors. Get value out of your Penthead Prism. Jax with the Liberty Prime recharged. 5 mana for an 8/8. Vigilance, Trample, and Haste. When Liberty Prime recharge attacks or blocks, sacrifice it unless you pay 2 energy. Pay 2, tap, sacrifice an artifact. You get 2 energy, and you also draw a card. You need energy. I'm telling you, the batteries! Double A's. Guess how many double A's Liberty Prime needs? Probably at least 50 AA batteries. At least. Next up, Abzo with the Guide of Souls. Oh, this card, it's the new busted 1-drop. Oh, humans gets to have everything. Merfolk cannot have a 1-drop. That would be completely illegal. I am not salty at Wizards of the Coast at all. Okay, 1 mana, 1/2. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield, you gain a life, which is also a little bit obscene. And you get an energy. Now, when you attack, you can pay 3 energy, and when you do, you put 2 +1/+1 counters on a creature, and it gains flying. It gets a flying counter as well. Whoops. Okay, well, you're gonna be off to the races when you have this thing active. It also just compounds like crazy. Alright, next. Triox, the Golem Foundry. Okay, that time I misspelled it. The Golem Foundry, it is... Let me get rid of this. Okay, 3 mana. Whenever you cast an artifact spell, you may put a charge counter on the Golem Foundry. Remove 3 charge counters from your Golem Foundry. You can put a nice, delicious 3/3 colorless Golem artifact creature token onto the battlefield. So, wow, if you have a good turn with artifacts, like start moving artifacts, cast, replay, bring back to hand, recast, bounce everything, you can make a billion golems out of this thing. Just what I need for my golem deck. Pacers fan for... No! Oh, just at worst time possible. We just got to that one. Okay, hold on, okay, we're gonna donate to that one. You have a lot of super chats coming. Alan Baird with Goldberry. River Daughter. This is a 2 mana 1/3. Nymph is tap, move a counter of each kind not on Goldberry River Daughter from another target permanent you control onto Goldberry. Now you can pay a blue, tap, move 1 or more counters from Goldberry onto another target permanent you control. If you do, draw a card. I don't understand the flavor of this. You're just doing the seal switcheroo. We're like cooking the books here and then actually cashing in. We're moving money from one account to another account to another account, and then somehow we end up with the money. Okay, let's save Pacers fan forever. You got sniped. Let's go to one that's not getting sniped. Aetherworks Marvel. Once banned in Standard, got a new life in Pioneer, died instantly. Sorry about that, Aetherworks Marvel. 4 mana legendary artifact. Whenever a permanent you control is put into a graveyard, you get an energy. Now, with these energies, what are you going to do? We've got to pay 6! 6 AA batteries. And look at the top 6 card of your library. You may cast a card from among them without paying its mana cost, put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. It's okay, it's not that random because you're never going to get to the bottom of your library again. We got Marlene Steele with Ramos. Which one? Ramos Dragon Engine? Oh yeah, there's Harder Ramos. I know what you want, the Dragon Engine. 6 mana 4/4 flying. Whenever you cast a spell, you get a counter. Sorry. You get a counter on Ramos for each of the spell's colors. Now you remove 5 counters, and you get double Wooburg. Perhaps send someone through the door of nothingness. Activate this ability only once each turn. I can only imagine Wizards R&D was like, maybe we can do this infinite times. We should limit this to 1. Only 1 double Wooburg per turn, that's all. Once each turn, whenever you cast a spell. Oh, didn't say you can't activate it on your opponent's turn. That's still absolutely possible. Okay, next up, we've got Elixir with the Colony Heart Expedition. You want some lands, do you? We'll have all the lands in the world. The 2-mana enchantment with Landfall enters the battlefield. When a land enters the battlefield, you may put a quest counter on Colony Heart Expedition. Remove 3 quest counters, sacrifice it, search your library for up to 2 basic land cards, put them onto the battlefield, tap, then shuffle your library. And then we got, and some people are calling out for Almond. Alondo! Oh, what the hell is that? Alondo, the Steer, or the Seer. This is a 4 mana 3/5 human shaman. It's like some professor in some sort of... It's like the dean of the Professor University. Okay, tap, draw a card, then exile a card from your hand and put a number of time counters on it equal to its mana value. It gains when the last time counter is removed from this card. If it's exiled, you may cast it without paying its mana cost. If you cast a creature spell this way, it gains haste until end of turn, then remove a time counter from each other card you own in exile. I don't know if that counts. At what point did we, like, remove counters to get any benefit. We removed counters from suspended, but then they didn't do anything. Draw a card, exile a card from your hand, put a number of time counters on it equal to its mana value. So we're suspending something. This is like the opposite. This is inverted cashing in. This is like saving in the, I don't know. This is like we're putting an investment away and it's not allowed to mature for like another 3 years or something. I'm disqualifying this one. Sorry, Almond, you gotta try again. Okay, Vic the Foxy Gamer, Oozeflux. 4-mana enchantment, pay 2. Remove 1 or more +1/+1 counters from among creatures you control. You get an XX green ooze. Onto the battlefield where X is the number of +1/+1 counters removed this way. Convert +1/+1 counters for ooze. Very disgusting. Toads with Peat Bog and Hickory Woodlot. Peat Bog. And you want Hickory Woodlot. So this is, comes to play tap with 2 depletion counters on it. Tap, remove a depletion counter from Peat Bog. Add double black mana to your mana pool. If there are no depletion counters on it, sacrifice it. I think these are underrated lands. Especially if you don't think the game's going to last for very long. Comes to play tapped again with 2 depletion counters on it. Tap, remove it. Remove that counter. You get double the green mana. It's like a soul land, but for green. And you only get 2 shots at it, and then it's gone. It's like that chocolate bar that you start eating. Eventually, it will go away, and it will never, ever come back. Ryan Harris with Gonti's Ether Vial. Oh, sorry, Ether Heart. But here's the good news about that chocolate bar. You can always buy another one. 6-mana legendary artifact. Whenever Gonti's Ether Heart or another artifact enters the battlefield under your control, you get double the energy. Pay, what, 8 energy? Exile Gonti's Ether Heart. Take an extra turn after this one. I wonder, did the price of this thing go up? They just made a bunch of new energy cards, and good ones, too. This is an extra turn-making machine. Or another artifact. Actually, this thing works by itself. You don't need any other energy cards. Just play artifacts and boom, get turns. This is an amazing card, actually. This is an extra turn machine. But only in an artifact deck. Maybe in my Urza deck that I will make one day, maybe. But probably not. Pacers fan forever, the Shrine of Burning Rage. Man, I haven't heard of this card in a long time. The 2-mana artifact. Now, at the beginning of your upkeep, or whenever you cast a red spell, you put a charge counter on your Shrine of Burning Rage. Pay 3, sack it, and you will deal damage equal to the number of counters to any target. It will hurt. You gotta get it over with. This is a rip the band-aid sort of card. Get someone to blow their Shrine of Burning Rage on you. Because the longer it takes, the worse it gets, that's for sure. And next up. Okay, all men gonna redeem themselves with Ashling the Pilgrim. Not to be mistaken with Ashling the Extinguisher. Don't know, is it the same person? 2 mana for a 1/1. Pay 2 mana, put a counter on Ashling the Pilgrim. If this is the 3rd time this ability has resolved this turn, remove all +1/+1 counters on Ashling the Pilgrim, and it deals that much damage to each creature and each player. So make sure that it's like a, what is it, a self-fulfilling earthquake of some sort? The Ashling that shakes the world. Iggy! Sorry, Iggle. Myojin. The Myojins! We were just talking about this mechanic of the seeing what the what's it called? The divinity counter mechanic. Seen only once. I think only seen only once. Never brought back again. 10 mana for a 3/3. Now, if you cast it, it comes into play with the divinity counter on it. And it is indestructible as long as a divinity counter. But you can cash that in. Alright? You can cash in that counter to draw a card for each permanent you control. Greatness at any card, at any cost. Suspend cards count? Absolutely not. I don't see how suspend cards should count. I don't like it. Unless there is some card that says, remove a suspend counter, you get something. Like, outside of the card that you suspended. Meme Bruley. Oh, another Myojin. of Cleansing Fire. I like my niche CM something. The Myojins. Okay, now this one, if you cast it from your hand, you didn't cheat it in play, then as it comes into play with a... it's indestructible as long as it has that divinity counter. It comes into play with that divinity counter. Remove a divinity counter from Cleansing Fire to destroy each other creature. The Myojin stands alone. And the Myojin is strong. Abzo Argent Days? Argent Days reporting for duty. What is this? It's 2 mana artifact. Argent Days enters the battlefield with 2 oil counters on it. Whenever 2 or more creatures attack, put an oil counter on Argent Days. Pay 2, tap, remove 2 oil counters from Argent Days, exile another target non-land permanent. Its controller draws 2 cards. Remove 2 counters. Yeah, that sounds like cashing in. So what, do you want to exile your own permanents? I don't get this card. So you get like you can cash in. Okay, you cash in your oil counters. Gotta cash in that oil money. For what's it called? So that either you or somebody else gets to draw cards at the cost of exiling your own stuff. Okay, next up, the Abyss Soul Etched Oracle. Assuming that was spelled wrong. Oops, but I spelled it wrong anyway. The Etched Oracle, 4 mana. Oh, it's got Sunburst. Sunburst absolutely counts. This enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it for each color of mana spent to cast it. Pay 1, remove 4 +1/+1 counters on it. Target player draws 3 cards. We've got Ancestral Recall on the Etched Oracle. Doesn't this look like... It reminds me of somebody. Etched Champion. Everyone's etched. What does etched mean? Like the details in the metal? Something to that effect. Okay, Alan. Give/take as a secret powerhouse in my Peer and Toothy deck. Where's a great super chat sound effect for that give/take? Give/take. 3 mana. Put 3 counters on target creature. You also can take. Remove all remove all the +1/+1 counters from target creature you control to draw that many cards. That's good value. And it's got Fuse. Fuse, you can cast both sides at the same time. So also you can just pump that thing up, pump a particular creature up with a bunch of +1/+1 counters, and then you just cash it in all at once with the give and take. Kit the Cat. Teferi, Temporal Pilgrim. Temporal Pilgrim. 5 mana. Whenever you draw a card, put a loyalty counter on Teferi. And you also pay 0 to draw a card. -2, create a 2/2 blue creature spirit token with vigilance, and whenever you draw a card, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. -12. Target opponent chooses a permanent they control and returns it to its hand. Then they shuffle. This doesn't really count. Whenever you draw a card, put a loyalty counter. This doesn't remove loyalty counters for value. Sorry, disqualified. Yeah, ×3, huh? Or is there something I'm missing here? Whenever you draw a card, put a counter. Like the thing, if it removed a counter, I could understand that. But it's actually adding a counter. You're getting both. You're getting value and you're getting counters. So it's sort of like, I don't know, the best of both worlds for this show. But disqualified nonetheless. Okay, who didn't get one? Tavashel with the Callow Jushi. That sounds very juicy to me. Okay, it's a 3 mana. Whenever you play a Spirit or Arcane spell, you may put a key counter on Callow Jushi. At the end of turn, if there are 2 more key counters on Callow Jushi, you may flip it from a 2/2 upgraded to the 3/4. The Jaraku, the Interloper. Sounds like a pro wrestler of some sort. In the left corner, coming down the aisle, accompanied by manager Callow Jushi, is Jaraku the Interloper. Remove a key counter from Karuku the Interloper. Counter target spell unless its controller pays 2. What? We did all that from a damn miscalculation? There was a miscalculation in this person's career. Okay, next up. Super chat. Pacers fan forever. With Dr. Madison Lee. Dr. Madison, you say? 3 mana for a 2/3 human scientist. Whenever you cast an artifact spell, you get an energy. Tap, pay an energy. Target creature gets +1/+0 and gains trample and haste until end of turn. You can pay 3 energy to draw a card, or you can pay 5 energy to return target artifact card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Great value all around. This card knows how to cash in counters, that's for sure. Next up, Larry Lai, Ancient Hydra. Fading 5. Ah, yes! I used to play this in Standard. That might show my age. 5 mana for a 5/1 with Fading 5. Now, you can also pay 1, remove a Fading counter from Ancient Hydra to deal 1 damage to target creature or player. That is the original Walking Ballista back in the day. And it can only come into play with 5 counters on it, but it doesn't have to be divisible by even numbers. I don't think Thing in the Ice counts. I'm not counting like Planeswalkers or like, you know, suspend cards and stuff like that. Okay, Ryan Harris with Watcher of Hours. Sounds like what I do on the internet. Sounds like some people on Netflix. Watcher of Hours, the 6 mana 6/6 Sphinx, has seen every season of fill in your favorite Netflix series. Flying Ward 3. Whenever you remove a time counter from Watcher of Hours while it's exiled, surveil 1. See, that's what I'm talking about. See, that one I can count. Because, like, you remove the suspend counter, and then something happened. It's not like you remove an ice counter from Thing in the Ice and something happens. I mean, I understand when there are no more counters left on the thing, it will flip into an Awoken Horror. But still, for each one, nothing happens. Suspend 6 at will, if you want to surveil like crazy. I absolutely can count this one. Pacers fan forever. I should look up the Pacers one day. I don't even know what the Pacers are. I'm an abomination to whatever sports team you watch or music celebrity thing. Unstable Amulet. Oh god, I hate this card. This card is abomination. It's like now it's just a stock card in Magic the Gathering. It's a 2 mana artifact. It's like a modern staple now. Enters the battlefield, you get 2 energy. Whenever you cast a spell from anywhere other than your hand, you get to deal 1 damage to your opponent. And also tap, pay 2 energy, exile the top card of your library. You may play it until you exile another card with Unstable Amulet. Beanpot. Red Mana Battery. 4 mana artifact, pay 2, tap, put 1 charge counter on Red Mana Battery. Wow, this is terrible. Tap, add a red to your mana pool, and remove as many charge counters as you wish. For each charge counter removed this way, Red Mana Battery adds another red mana. Play this ability only as an interrupt. Crappiest ramp spell of all time. That is awful. That calls for a Titanic sound effect, that's for sure. The Red Mana Battery, ladies and gentlemen. Who has not got a card yet? Dark Depths definitely does not count. You remove counters and nothing happens until you remove all of them. We got... Let's go and get another one from Hamad. Steelbane Hydra. Some of you people are cheating the system around. I see you all. I see you all. You got Christopher B. Syndrome around here. Well, we can't all be Christopher B's around here. I'll tell you what. See, we gotta slow you all down. There we go. Ha! Your power's been blockaded. What I love is Christopher B is sort of slowed down anyway. Okay, so green X for 0/0 Turtle Hydra. Steelbane Hydra enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it. Pay 3 mana, remove a +1/+1 counter from Steelbane Hydra. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. You don't want that. This looks like something out of, I don't know, Godzilla or something. I don't know, for a second I thought this was laser eyes, but no, there's just some sort of glowing sword going on in its mouth. All right, we're going to take a look at more cards you can cash in, but if you want to cash in your cards in more than one way, you can buy cards to cash in at FusionGamingOnline.com. You can also sell them cards. Oh, look at this. Battle Dome trading card game is now available. Okay, what's the deal of the week? Pokemon. Anyone play Pokemon out there? Well, you can buy 15% off Pokemon products at FusionGamingOnline.com. Not to mention, your Modern Horizons 3 cards. They're hot and ready here at Fusion Gaming. At your discretion. Upgrade your Modern, Legacy, and Commander decks today. What else gets upgraded? Vintage. Tiny Leaders. If anyone still plays that. You can support the channel using my coupon code, my beautiful coupon code at checkout to get 5% off all your purchases. Everything at checkout. And also, we're going to thank Mana Traders, the premier place to rent Magic cards on the digital platform Magic Online. I play Commander, Pioneer. Hey, the only reason I can get into Pioneer is I can rent them cards. And now they know that they're good, I buy the cards. You can support the channel using my Mana Traders link in the description below, or save 10% off your first 2 months using coupon code Nikachu_OKM. Or you never buy the cards, you just rent for eternity. That works for some people too, especially if you are constantly changing your deck over and over again. Not everyone can stick to the same deck. I'm crazy in that way. Merfolk for life. You made those formats up. I did not. They are real. Yeah, imagine testing Magic the Gathering players. Here's 4 formats. Try to guess the one that doesn't exist. Tiny Leaders, Battle Box. None of it's official. Commander's not even an official format. It was made by a judge. Show me the sanctioned Commander tournaments. I think they are sanctioned now, so maybe it's like somewhat official. Who am I saying? Commander's official. Okay, moving on. We've got Tommy Sins. Nikachu clearly hasn't paid the 30 mana to cash in a 2020. But you don't really cash in anything there. I'm not counting the Dark Depths. And since when did anyone pay the mana to remove the counters anyway? Next up, we'll go with Argent. Magistrate Scepter. Is there a better way to cash in? Maybe not. 3 mana artifact. Pay 4, tap, put a charge counter on the Magistrate Scepter. Also tap, remove 3 charge counters on it. Take an extra turn after this one. Look at that. Not just blue can have access to Time Walks. Any deck has access to Time Walks, says the Scepter. That's interesting. It's only 99 cents. Maybe because if you play this card, you're going to get banned from your playgroup. Okay, we got Chris Plummer with the Mindless Automaton. Mindless, you say? This is like the Straw Man. If only I had a brain. 4 mana construct. Mindless Automaton enters the battlefield with 2 +1/+1 counters on it. Pay 1, discard a card, put a +1/+1 counter on Mindless Automaton. Remove 2 +1/+1 counters from Mindless Automaton. Draw a card. Wait a minute, was it... Who wanted the brain? Was it the Straw Man? Someone wanted courage. I think the lion wanted courage. I think the Straw Man wanted a brain. But maybe it was the robot. Robot don't have a brain either. I don't remember. It's been a long time since I've seen the Wizard of Oz. Okay, Christopher B says there's a... Oh, the Sage of Fables. Merfolk alert! Merfolk alert! It's a 3 mana 2/2 Merfolk Wizard. Each other wizard creature you control enters the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on it. So it's almost like... It's not exactly Hardened Scales, but something like that for wizards. Pay 2, remove a +1/+1 counter from a creature you control to draw a card. That's right. 2 mana, it's like basically cracking a clue. Man, I just boil it down to clues. Okay, Robot didn't have a heart. Lion didn't have courage. Scarecrow wants a brain. Okay, I was right with the Scarecrow. The Lion. Robot didn't have a heart. Robot doesn't have any of these things. Except for maybe courage. Although I don't know if you need to have courage when you're programmed to have it in the first place. Okay, Kit the Cat wants redemption. I will not be disqualified this time. The Lost Isle Calling. This is a 2 mana enchantment. Whenever you scry, put a verse counter on Lost Isle Calling. Pay 6, exile Lost Isle Calling. Draw a card for each verse counter on Lost Isle Calling. That's 100% correct. If it had 7 or more verse counters on it, take an extra turn after this one. Holy crap. There's so many take an extra turn cards off of, like, these counters matter type of permanents. Activate only as a sorcery. Well, I only need to activate it as a sorcery. Tin Man wanted a heart. Oh, here, another Steve Cooper, another. You know, either you guys watch The Wizard of Oz, you're big fans, or you're using Google. Oh boy, Haru Specs. Haru Specs. If it shows up, come on. Did I not press enter? Maybe I didn't press enter. The Haru Specs, 4 mana 2/2. It's a Tyrannid. Rapacious Hunger. Whenever another creature dies, put a +1/+1 counter on. Haru Specs. Devouring monster. Tap, remove X +1/+1 counters from Haru Specs. Add X mana of any one color. You're not allowed to divide it around here. Gotta go all in on green. Or blue. Or black, white, or red. Okay, we got the Zombie Blaster with Etrata the Silencer. Is it Etrata or Traxa? Okay, we're just gonna look up the Silencer, because I don't know what the first name is. Oh, it's Etrata. There's a few Silencers in this game. 4 mana for 3/5, can't block. It's a Vampire Assassin. When Etrata deals combat damage to a player, exile target creature that player controls, and put a hit counter on that card, the player loses the game if they own 3 or more exiled cards with hit counters on them. Etrata's owner shuffles Etrata into the library. Actually disqualified. Yeah, I mean, it is good to have these counters, but it actually doesn't, you don't cash them in. You're just giving them. It's like giving poison until they die. So weirdly disqualified. Yeah, not cashed in. Oops, I already did the buzzer, didn't I? Sorry, I didn't mean to give 2 buzzers. Only meant 1. Who hasn't got a card yet? I think everyone's got a card. Okay, everyone's gonna get a second card, I guess. Christopher B wants Chandra. Legacy of Fire. 5 mana, 3 loyalty Chandra. At the beginning of your end step, Chandra, Legacy of Fire, deals X damage to each opponent, where X is the number of planeswalkers you control. +1. Add a red for each planeswalker you control, but pay 0, remove a loyalty counter from each of any number of permanents you control, including Chandra, I guess. Exile that many cards from the top of your library. Ooh, you can play them this turn. Exile cards, and boom! Card advantage. Who said red doesn't draw cards? They just do it in a weird way. Okay, Mercarcher. We're joining late today. Have we done the Millennium Calendar? We have not done the Millennium Calendar yet. The Millennium. Obviously was not affected by the Y2K bug. 1 mana legendary artifact. Whenever you untap 1 or more permanents during your untap step, put them any time counters on the Millennium Calendar. Pay 2, tap double the time counters on the Millennium Calendar. Then when there are 1,000 or more time counters on it, on the Millennium Counter, sacrifice and each opponent loses 1,000 life. Well, hold on. 1,000 life! Huh? You didn't get a card? Well, no, I'm not. You know what? I'm not ignoring you. Sometimes I think I've gotten everybody. Okay, David Sampson. All will be one. Don't worry. Sometimes you could just say I haven't even gotten 1 card yet. I'm not angry at any of you. I love everybody. Love everyone in chat. We got 5 mana enchantment. Whenever you put 1 or more counters on a permanent or player, all will be 1 deals that much damage to target opponent. Create creature an opponent controls or planeswalker an opponent controls. Oh, this actually gets disqualified. You got my attention and everything. No cash in. You put counters and you get damage, but they aren't getting cashed in here. It's a counters matter card, but no cashing in. The Abyssal Serrated. This is like a bad card, isn't it? Serrated. Or it's like, it was a bad card by today's standards, but it's like a really good card back in the day. 4 mana. Enters a battlefield with 3 arrowhead counters on it. Now, at the beginning of your upkeep, if there are no arrowhead counters on it, you gotta sacrifice it because it is worthless. No arrowhead counters, you go to the garbage. Tap, remove an arrowhead counter from serrated arrows to put a -1/-1 counter on target creature. See, Toads feels the love. All the counters are cashed in it. Well, that's not how this show works. You got to remove the counter. You remove it to get the value. Draconic. Let me guess, you're gonna suggest a dragon. Daragas! You are like 10 for 10 for suggesting dragon cards. Daragas reincarnated. I've gotten that a lot today. Not sure if this counts. Well, okay, well, it's a free roll to suggest cards. It's a 7 mana 7/7 flying trample and haste. If Daragas reincarnated would die, instead exile it with 3 egg counters on it. At the beginning of your upkeep, if Daragas is exiled with an egg counter on it, remove an egg counter. Then if Daragas has no counters on it, return it to the battlefield. Does not count. Now, if for every egg counter you remove, you gained a life, you put a 1/1 dragon baby or something in play, it would count, but that one does not count. Fabricio with Mercurial Spelldancer. We dancing around here. 2 mana 2/1 Phyrexian Rogue. Can't be blocked whenever you cast a non-creature spell. Put an oil counter on Mercurial Spelldancer. Now, whenever Mercurial Spelldancer deals combat damage to a player, you may remove 2 oil counters on it, and if you do, when you cast your next instant or sorcery spell, but there's a lot of work in this card, you can copy the spell, and you may choose new targets for the copy. You see in double around here. It's prepare for trouble and make a double to protect the multiverse from devastation. Okay, next up, Bojack Yellow, Parallax Tide. Ooh, we had Parallax Wave, now Parallax Tide. David says, I'm not suggesting another card for redemption. I'm satisfied with the disqualification. Hold on, you might be satisfied. You finally got my attention. All right, so 4 mana enchantment, Fading 5. Remove Fading counter from it. Remove target land from the game. It's like a soft Armageddon. And when Parallax Tide leaves play, don't worry, you get all your lands back. They're all gonna come back eventually, as long as we don't proliferate this thing to endless infinity. Ristridden. Did we do Omo? Omo, Queen of Vesuva. Isn't that a new one? Feels new. Monorizes 3. Very, very new. 3 mana 1/5. When it enters the battlefield or attacks, put an everything counter on each of up to 1 target land or up to 1 target creature. Each land with an everything counter on it is every land type in addition to its other types. Each non-land creature with an everything counter on it is every creature type. Disqualified. You can cash anything in here. Today's show is hard. Holy moly. We got like, what? Disqualification count is up to 20 or something. And like the first 2 or 3 suggestions on the show were like really on shaky ground. Okay, Chen. Hoof Prince of the Stag. This is a 2 mana tribal enchantment, well, kindred enchantment, elemental. Whenever you draw a card, you may put a hoof print counter on hoof prints of the Stag. 3 mana, remove 4 hoof print counters from hoof prints of the Stag. Create a 4/4 white elemental creature token with flying. Activate only during your turn. Why can't we do this on someone else's turn? Is it broken? They playtest this? Aw, instant speed? No, can't have Stags around here. That'd be too much. Steve Cooper, Glittering Stockpile. And donate to. Thanks so much, Steve Cooper. Okay, this is a 3 mana treasure artifact. Tap for a red, put a stash counter on Glittering Stockpile. Tap, sacrifice Glittering Stockpile, add X mana of any one color where X is the number of stash counters on the Glittering Stockpile. This way of storing. Red is, I don't know how to say red is good at adding mana, but red at ramps in a really weird way is all I'm saying. We did Walking Ballista, Merc Archer. Okay, 2 donations. Bean Pot with Elvish Farmer. 2 mana for 0/2 Elf. At the beginning of your upkeep, put a Spore counter on the Elvish Farmer. Remove 3 Spore counters. Oh my god, we're getting a 1/1 green Saproling creature token. But we can sacrifice the Saproling to get a life. Sorry, 2 life. A whole 2 life. don't spend it all at once. Proto Braid with Hierophant Bio Titan. A lot of Hierophants out there. 12 mana. That's a lot of mana. The 12/12 with Frenzied Metabolism. As an additional cost to cast this spell, you may remove any number of +1/+1 counters from creatures you control. This spell costs 2 less to cast for each counter removed this way. That's interesting. You get a discount for the counters. And then Vigilance Reach Ward 2. It's got Titanic? Titanic? Where's my Titanic sound effect? Hierophant Bio Titan can't be blocked by creatures of power 2 or less. Okay, next up. Vanilla Tort. Do we do Tekuthal? Tekuthal, you say? There's a lot of cards we haven't done. Definitely not this one. 4 mana for a 3/5 Phyrexian Horror flying. If you would proliferate twice instead. Now, for 3 mana, Phyrexian, and 1 generic. Remove 3 counters from among other artifact creatures and planeswalkers you control to put an indestructible counter on our Tekuthal. That is it's pretty good. I like that one. Next up. Of course it got yeah, of course it should get the Titanic music. It said Titanic in it. Of course. Okay, we have the Abyssal. Feeder idea for a show. Cards that have Wizards of the Coast changed what the card did. My submission would be Orcish Artillery, the only card that has had its CC changed. That'd be interesting, but I don't know if that's easy to show. Especially the differences between, like, the old card and the new card. It's funny how the game has at least 2 instances of Titanic in both senses of the word. Yeah, the size and the boat. Yeah, we have an actual Titanic card in the game, which is just bizarre. Imagine telling the people on the Titanic, you know what? You guys are going to one day be on a trading card. And because you're such a famous ship. Well, why is the ship so famous? Because it's big? No, nothing. Moving on. Enjoy your trip, by the way. Christian says, has anyone mentioned any of the Myojins? We've mentioned 2 Myojins. Do you know what? Just for you, Christian. We're going to look at another Myojin. We didn't look at the red one. It's an 8 mana 7/4 spirit. Now, if you cast it from your hand, it comes into play with a divinity counter, and it has indestructible so long as it has that divinity counter. Remove a divinity counter from Myojin of Infinite Rage to destroy all lands. Oh god. I would threaten the whole group. If one person attacks me with a 1/1, I'm removing this counter. And I have my hand floating around the counter for the entire day. I'll do it! Don't make me do it, okay? I found that worked pretty well with Strip Mine. You kill my creature, I strip mine your land. It worked great. I'm going to use that tactic till I'm dead. And if they want to kill my creature, fine. You lose your land. Thomas, Doubling Season. I don't know if that counts. Doubling Season. This is not a cash in your counters card. This is just make a bunch of counters. Effect would create doublets. Yeah, this one don't count. So it's gotta be. It's a show of if you remove a counter from something, you get an effect that isn't Suspend or Dark Depths. Those don't count. Ryan with a Galloping Lizrog. 5 mana for a 3/3 Trampling Frog Lizard. It's not even a frog. Enter the battlefield. You may remove any number of +1/+1 counters from among creatures you control. If you do, you put twice that many +1/+1 counters on the Galloping Lizfrog today. Lizfrog needs your counters. Needs them immediately. Oh, you came back, David. Oh, I didn't think you'd come back. They always say they're done. They're never done. Triskelion. You knew this was you know this was a slam dunk. Oh, you want the Antiquities art? Antiquities art original counters pay off. Here, we get the OG. Oh god, this card looks like trash. 6 mana 1/1. Triskelion gets 3 +1/+1 counters when cast. Wow, it's based on that, like what, I put the counters on it as it's on the stack. Controller may discard a +1/+1 counter at any time to do 1 damage to any target. May discard a +1/+1 counter? That is really janky text. That's terrible. Okay, Ricard, you're gonna try again. Transmorgifying Rod. Transmorgifying Rod. I can't find this card. Was it a rod? Listen, a wand, maybe? I think you meant wand. The 3-mana artifact enters the battlefield with 3 charge counters on it. Pay 1 tap, remove a charge counter from Transmorgifying Wand. Destroy target creature! Oh no! But they get a 2/4 white ox creature token. Activate only as a sorcery. Alright, you are now free to eat as much grass as you want, just like my cat Chubby Meatball. Loves eating the grass. Loves throwing up too. Who hasn't got 2 cards yet is like the real question. I don't think Argent got 2 cards. Does Chronozoa count? An interesting use of fade counters for sure. The 4 mana 3/3 vanishing 3 flying. When Chronozoa is put into a graveyard from play, if it had no time counters on it, put 2 tokens into play that are copies of it. It's put into a graveyard from play. If it had no time, why would it have time counters? Oh, I see. Yeah, sorry, it's vanishing 3, not fading 3. Yeah, okay, that's fine. So it's vanishing 3, it's in play, you killed it, you got a little something. Although it's a little, you have to do it in a roundabout way to get value out of the counters. Anton didn't get squat yet. Okay, would love the Thorn. The Thorn Talid. Is it Talid or Thalid? It's too many. Okay, we're gonna have to just trust you on Talid. The trust was wrong. It was Thalid. I knew it. I should have trusted my instinct. Everyone's spelling wrong today. It's okay. I spell wrong all the time as well. I spell wrong 20 times more than the rest of you. Now for a 3 mana, we've got a 2/2 fungus. Probably should get that checked out by a doctor. At the beginning of your upkeep, put a spore counter on your Thorn Thalid. Remove 3 spore counters from Thorn Thalid. Thorn Thalid deals 1 damage to target creature or player. The danger in cultivating massive plants caught the elves by surprise. This is like a strictly worse version of like Walking Ballista. It's a lot of value just to deal 1 damage. Islarf and Blackbird have been overlooked. All right, Blackbird. Someone's keeping track. Font of Agonies. 1 mana enchantment. Whenever you pay life, put that many blood counters on Font of Agonies. Okay, so we pay life for counters. Pay 2 mana, remove 4 counters from Font of Agonies just to destroy target creature. 4 life and 2 mana to blow something up. Well, it works, but I would never play this card. Definitely not. Okay, Islarf, Karn Liberated. I still need it. Does that work? Karn Liberated. I'm not counting Planeswalkers. If it says remove a Planeswalker counter for something, I would count that. -3, exile target permanents. Restart the game. No, none of this works. Sorry about that, Islarf. Try again. It's free to try again. The Abyssal with Gemstone Mine. I was almost going to start the show with this. Enters the battlefield with 3 mining counters on it. Tap to remove a mining counter from it. Add 1 mana of any color. Then if there are no mining counters on Gemstone Mine, well, you got no mine. Sacrifice it. Everyone's fired. Sorry. We mined everything that we could. Okay, we got Kit the Cat donating. Thanks so much for your donation. These live streams are always so fun to join in. Have we done the Brass Tunnel Grinder? I don't know if it would count. Okay, we'll find out. 3 mana legendary artifact. When Brass Tunnel Grinder enters the battlefield, discard any number of cards, then draw that many cards +1. At the beginning of your end step, if you descended this turn, put a boar counter on Brass Tunnel Grinder. Then if there are 3 or more board counters on it, remove those counters and transform it. 100%! 100% that counts. What does it transform into? We got Takutlan, the Searing Rift. Is this what we were mining? It's a cave. Go back to your cave, Batman. Tap for a red. Whenever you cast a permanent spell using mana produced by Takutlan, the Searing Rift, discover X, where X is that spell's mana value. I don't know, I sort of like the first side. I like that whole enters the battlefield, we draw that many cards plus one part. So I just blink that side for eternity. If I were me, and I am me, so that's a good thing to be. Okay, Will of Darkness with Tyam. We have a bunch of late bloomers here, so we gotta get around to people. 4 mana, Nightmare Beast. Looks beautiful for a nightmare. A 3/3, each other creature you control enters the battlefield with an additional vigilance counter on it. An additional vigilance counter? It didn't have enough vigilance counters in the first place? Alright, so it's pay 3, remove 3 counters from among creatures you control. Put the top 3 cards of your library into your graveyard, then return a permanent card with converted mana cost 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Almost like Reanimator. Chad. Liberty Prime. How is it? This has been on like the last 3 shows. This 8/8 for 5 mana. Oh no, didn't we just do this one? Sure, whenever attacks or blocks, sacrifice unless you pay 2 energy. Pay 2, tap, sacrifice an artifact, you get 2 energy and draw a card. I can't remember if I disqualified this one or not. Like, well, I mean, I guess it works. You do pay the counters to keep the damn thing. That's funny. We got Golgari Grave Troll from Vanilla Tort. Even though almost nobody casts the card to begin with. Almost nobody, but in a pinch, you know what? It enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it for each creature card in your graveyard. I think that's how it was designed. That's what it was meant for. Pay 1. Remove a +1/+1 counter from Golgari Grave Troll. Regenerate Golgari Grave Troll. That's it. You get to regenerate. We did, oh, the other one we did. Okay, we got the Lulls for the win. Hopeful Initiate. One mana, 1/2. It's got training. So whenever this creature attacks with another creature with greater power, put a counter on this creature. You are an apprentice. One day you will become the master. 3 mana. Remove 2 +1/+1 counters from among creatures you control to destroy target artifact or enchantment. Seems like a really hard way to for artifact and enchantment destruction, but whatever. We got Carl! Quest for the Holy Relic. Thanks so much, Carl. Or any other quest. Okay, we got the White Quest. Enchantment. Whenever you cast a creature spell, you may put a quest counter on Quest for the Holy Relic. And remove 5 quest counters, sack it, search your library for an equipment card, put it onto the battlefield, and attach it to a creature you control, then shuffle your library. Wow! It's like Sigarda's Aid and Stoneforge Mystic all in one. All in one little package. Gillum! Arcane Spyglass. 4 mana, pay 2, tap, sack a land, draw a card, and put a charge counter on Arcane Spyglass. That's a hefty price. We gotta sack our lands for this thing? Remove 3 charge counters from Arcane Spyglass, draw a card. I don't feel like we're getting good value out of this. That sounds terrible. I had to sack 3 lands to get to that point. But then someone might say, maybe you could have, but yeah, but you could even draw a land. You might even be able to draw land off that card. That card could be anything. Blast Offer. Have you done Charforger? I have not. We will in a minute. 3 mana for a 2/3 Phyrexian Beast. When Charforger enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 Phyrexian Goblin creature token. Whenever another creature or artifact you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, put an oil counter on the Charforger. Now you remove 3 oil counters from Charforger, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. Damn, that sucks. How do we get the counters? Whenever another creature, as things die, we might be able to cast the card on top of our library. Maybe. Maybe not. Next up. Who hasn't gotten many cards? I don't know if Bojack Yellow did. Furnace Strider. Who hasn't got 2 cards yet? 5 mana, 4/5 Phyrexian Beast. The Furnace Strider enters the battlefield with 2 oil counters on it. Remove an oil counter. Target creature you control gains haste until end of turn. And they're going to be off to the races. It's funny how you guys struggle at the beginning, but now we're figuring it out. Okay, Triox with the Cytoplast Manipulator. Careful. They might gaslight you. This is definitely a gaslighting person, I can tell immediately. What do you say? Troll of my EDH pod? Okay. The 4 mana 0/0 human wizard mutant with Graph 2. I don't even know what is. Okay, we gotta learn what Graph 2 is because it's a weird mechanic. This should have been a mechanic we don't see anymore these days. This creature comes into play with 2+1/+1 counters on it. Whenever another creature comes into play, you may remove a +1/+1 counter from this creature onto it. So we get control of the counters. Pay a blue, tap, gain control of target creature with a +1/+1 counter on it for as long as Cytoplast Manipulator remains in play. Is this legal? This creature comes with 2 counters on it. Whenever another creature comes into play, you may move a counter from it. Gain control of target creature with a +1/+1 counter. This is a weird way of making use of your counter, but you're not cashing them in. It's my only problem with this card. We're not cashing anything in here. You're definitely getting value, don't get me wrong. You are stealing people's creatures within some sort of luring way, but this doesn't fit the show. The Lols says, I did not realize you can graft onto your opponent's creatures. You can today. Blastarver says, might as well do Braided Net. Three mana artifact enters the battlefield with 3 net counters on it. Tap, remove a net counter from the Braided Net. Tap another target creature. Sorry, tap another target non-land permanent. Its activated abilities can't be activated for as long as it remains tapped. I cast the net counter on you. The net counter.
Enemy spotted.
You've been netted. I got you. Like a fish stranded in the ocean. Like a poor crab that walked too far away from its coral hiding. Old boy says only got 1 Mercadian Lift. Yeah, we're at a... Is the weather too good out today? Where is everybody? Not that... Although we have a ton of people here. We got a ton of people. Mercadian Lift, the 2 mana artifact. Oh, it's the elevator back in the day. I'll go up, please. Pay 1, tap. Put a winch counter on Mercadian Lift. Tap, remove X winch counters from the Mercadian Lift. Put a creature card with converted mana cost X from your hand into play. Wow, that's insane. It's show and tell. That's wild. Kaden, first card. Have you done Verazol? No. What's a Verazol? Ooh, it's Simic. Blue-green X for a Serpent. It's a 0/0 Serpent. Now, it enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it for each mana spent to cast it. Oh, so it counts the blue and the green, too. Whenever you cast a kick spell, you may remove 2 counters from Verazol. If you do, copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. Oh my god, you could Time Walk twice. Time Walk. 2 Time Walks at the same time, man. 2 Time Walks at the same time. Where is it? Dinglebag? Did you really just get here? Did we do Jar of Eyeballs? No. I swear I did one of your cards already. 3 mana artifact. Whenever a creature you control dies, put 2 eyeball counters on your Jar of Eyeballs. Now pay 3, tap, remove all eyeball counters from Jar of Eyeballs. Look at the top X cards of your library, where X is the number of eyeball counters. Remove this way. Now put one of them into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. We got Hellwalker. Hey, nice to be here. Bedtime for me. It's very funny to watch these cards. You're welcome. Enjoy. Enjoy the wonderful show that we have here. Just Marchard says 236 BC was the time they made the first elevator. Holy crap. Like, what was hoisting it? Were there, like, just people, like, pulling down, I guess, like this? I guess there were some people who, like, had to pull the rope. 2nd floor. Ugh. They have to, like, grab and hoist people up. I mean, it would have worked. I mean, they've had toilets for a long time. That's what blew me away. Just skip the craft effect on the braided net. There's a craft effect. Do we need craft with artifact? I don't even know what that means. Craft with artifact, blue and 1 generic. All right, it's got craft with artifact. I don't know how important that is though. David, the Slogurk. Don't say it's slow, because things go fast with Slogurk. 3 mana, 3/3. Ooze, trample. Whenever a land card is put into your graveyard from anywhere, put a +1/+1 counter on Slogurk the Overslime. Remove 3 counters. Remove 3 +1/+1 counters from Slogurk, and then return it to its owner's hand. When Slogurk leaves play, return up to 3 target land cards from your graveyard to your hand. Basically Ancestral Recall, but for lands from your graveyard, which maybe you want anyway. We did Rasputin. Okay, Islarf wants redemption. Bomb Squad. Four mana for a 1/1 dwarf. Tap, put a fuse counter on target creature. At the beginning of your upkeep, put a fuse counter on each creature with a fuse counter on it. You're going to all burn in hell. Whenever a creature has 4 or more fuse counters on it, remove all fuse counters from it and destroy it. That creature deals 4 damage to its controller. And blast them in the face. What else? That's okay, you can guess as many cards as you want. But I guess that's it. Oh no, we have not. Kagan sneaks in that super chat the last second. Simic Manipulator. Oh my god. I remember there was like a standard tournament back when this thing was available, and it was just a rumor online that this was like a really good card in the meta game, and like it was getting hyped, and so like the price of it like jumped, and a bunch of people played it for no reason except like, you know, the I don't know, the hype it was getting online, but it was like wasn't proven at all. It's just a crap card in the end. It was like so bad. After a few tournaments, no one played it at all. 3 mana for a 0/1 with Evolve. So when a creature enters the battlefield, it gets +1/+1 if it has greater power toughness. Now tap, remove 1 or more counters, +1/+1 counters from the Simic Manipulator. Gain control of target creature with power less than or equal to the number of counters removed this way. Craft means something that has another side as it transforms. Oh god. It does transform to the braided Kupu. 4 mana, draw a card for each artifact you control, then put a braided Kupu into its owner's library, 3rd from the top. Alright, there was actually way more to this card than I expected. Let's give Ristridon, Mikaeus, the Lunarch. Would it be nice? It's a white X 0/0. Enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it. Tap. You can put another one. Another one. Another one. And then tap. This is DJ Khaled's card. Tap, remove a +1/+1 counter from Mikaeus. Put a +1/+1 counter on each other creature you control. Another one. We do another one. Why would you remove or more on a Simic Manipulator? Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, I guess... Yeah, I don't know. They were trying to do something in advance. Disqualify Yawgmoth with an undying creature. Yeah, you're disqualified. You're like literally putting counters on, even though like they sort of equalize themselves out. Okay, that's it for today. Thank you so much, everyone, for showing up. Remember, Friday, we are doing this at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. Friday, 9 a.m. Be there or be square. There could be a lot of people. There could be almost nobody there. You got to be there 9 a.m. But usually... Oh, and also on Monday, we'll have a late show at 8 p.m. All right? So to give you the dates, let me give you the dates. The 21st, we're 9 a.m. On the 24th, Monday, we are 8 p.m. because I'm traveling. I'm going to the NRG series St. Louis. If you live in St. Louis, well, you have a chance to meet me there. Thanks everyone who supports the show. If you are a patron on Patreon, a member on YouTube, or you super chat to be part of the show, or super chat so other people be part of the show. And thank you so much for being here today. My coffee crew, thanks so much. Old Boy, Kano, Anton. We got Belle. Belle was here the entire time. Just hanging out in the background. We got Jess, David Sampson. We got Glitch, Christopher B, Argent, Zach, Lasagna Destroyer, Blast Offer, David Sampson. We got Christian. We got Ristradin, Toads. Oh my god, thank you so much, Coffee Crew. As usual, keep brewing up them coffees, and we'll keep brewing up the magic. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you, of course, at the next cup.